Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are in the country. My name is Guy Messick, General Counsel to NACUSO, and welcome to this webinar. We're very excited to hear about this topic, which some of you might have spoken to Ashish at the NACUSO conference and finding out a little more about how texting can work in your credit union. Before we start, before I introduce the introducer, I just wanted to go over the ground rules. The ground rules are simple, that we want to get through the presentation. We will take questions either through the written format, through the chat box you have, or at the end, there's an ability for you to electronically raise your hand, and we will do everything we can to unmute you to ask questions. Sometimes that doesn't work, and if it doesn't, just feel free to write it out. Let me introduce, I'm sure the person you all know, Denise Wymore. She's the Director of Membership and Advocacy Development at NACUSO, and Denise was behind arranging this webinar today. So Denise, take it away.
All right, thanks, Guy. Well, I'm excited to introduce our CEO and co-founder and presenter today, Ashish Garg. After earning his MBA from the Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania, and an engineering degree from BITS Pilani, Ashish spent his early career in high tech. As a product manager defining and evangelizing new products, Ashish saw firsthand the changes that the latest technologies, such as messaging, were bringing to the enterprise. He founded Eltropy with the vision of applying machine learning AI techniques to enterprise processes to dramatically improve efficiency and customer engagement. I think you're all going to really enjoy this presentation. So now I'll turn it over to Ashish.
Okay, thank you, Denise. Good morning or good afternoon to everybody who's on the conference today. In case you can see me, I'm waving at you. And along with me, I have Sukriti, who is the head of our marketing team, who, along with Denise, helped me organize this webinar. Sukriti and I, we're actually dialing in from San Jose, California. So behind us, you can see some of the California sun. Today, it's a little bit foggy outside because of all the fires we have in NorCal, and that fog is kind of making its way to San Jose today. But usually, it's much nicer than this. We'll begin our presentation now. What we have for you today is about 15 minutes worth of slides. I'll just like to show you conceptually what is it that we do. But the main event today is a live demonstration that I'll give you how to use text messaging for your credit union. I will really appreciate if some of you or all of you could participate in the demo. I think it'll make it fun for all of us to make it interactive and see how text messaging can work for your credit union. So my presentation and demo should take about 30 minutes, which should leave us ample time for Q&A towards the end. So with that, any questions from anybody? Or Denise, may I begin?
Absolutely.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off my webcam here. I'm going to start sharing my screen. And Denise, please let me know when you can see my screen, and then I'll be ready to begin.
Not quite yet. There we go. We're on.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about text messaging for credit unions. And the text messaging revolution is here. I'm sure everybody on this call today uses some sort of text messaging with friends and family. So I don't really have to sell you on text messaging. It is something that has happened. And every generation in America, whether it's the young kids in high school, college-going kids, professionals like us, or even baby boomers, everybody is into texting. My most fascinating statistic is that 95% of text messages are opened within 3 minutes and responded to within 90 seconds. And more I talk to people and credit unions across America, I'm realizing that credit unions want to do something about text messaging. However, till date, most credit unions are still using traditional communication channels, even though 9 out of 10 consumers today would like to be able to use text messaging to communicate to businesses. Now, one set of businesses that have really adopted text messaging are dentists. So I don't know which state you're in, but here in California, dentists love to text people They send us appointment reminders. They let us know when the appointment for us to kind of come in for a scheduling. So dentists have embraced text messaging like no other business. Another set of businesses that have embraced text messaging are pharmacies. So for example, I have two young kids, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and CVS Pharmacy has built a text messaging based workflow. So anytime I need to order prescriptions or reorder prescriptions, I can text CVS Pharmacy. That cuts down a lot of time wasted on phone calls, etc. And CVS Pharmacy will text me when the prescription is ready to be picked up. So today, we're going to talk about how you at your credit union can leverage text messaging for several use cases. The most popular use cases we see for text messaging are marketing, sales, service, lending, and collections. So we as a company, Eltropy, offer use cases for credit unions for across the board. And this is one area that really differentiates us from other text messaging providers, that we are able to address pretty much every use case you have inside your credit union. So there are three main things that we offer to credit unions. So the moment we talk about text messaging, the first question anybody at a credit union has is compliance and security. So we as Eltropy have done a lot of work on the compliance side to understanding TCPA rules, FCC rules, SEC rules, how they apply to text messaging. And that's one area where our software really helps credit unions, is being compliant with the laws that are out there. The second thing we offer are IT integrations. So whether it's your core banking system, whether it's your loan origination system, your CRM, your marketing automation system, we as Eltropy seamlessly plug in to these IT systems that you use to run your business today. And the third thing which makes Eltropy the most unique is business intelligence. We, because of our unique technology, are able to provide you intelligence around how text messaging is even working for you. How are your members and your prospects engaging with these text messages? And this is something that no other company in the marketplace provides today, business intelligence on top of text messaging. And once I give you a demo, it'll become very clear how this works for us. So a little bit more about IT integration. So we're doing a lot of work today with Scimitar on the core banking side. We are part of the Scimitar vendor integration program. They call it VIP. We signed on to become a member, and we've started the process of integrating our solution into Scimitar. Close on its heels, we've started the work of integrating Eltropy into Fiserv, and our plan down the line is to integrate with FIS as well as D&H. We do similar integrations with loan origination systems. The two popular ones are there are Meridian Link and Ellie Mae. On the CRM side, we already have integrations with Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics, and we also offer integrations into several email marketing solutions that exist out there. So how can credit unions use text messaging? We look at text messaging in two buckets. First is one-to-one text messaging. This is a human sending a text message to another human, which is one of your employees in your credit union, whether it's your loan officer, your relationship manager, your banker, your teller, your service support staff. When they text somebody else at the other end, that's what is called one-to-one text messaging. And the use cases for one-to-one are sales, service, lending, and collections. And the way TCPA rules work out for one-on-one text messaging is that as long as we obtain verbal consent. So before we text somebody, if we ask them, sir or ma'am, is it okay if I send you a text message? And if they give us verbal consent, it's okay to send them a text message. Of course, a verbal consent does not mean that we now have a license to bombard them with text messages. You can maybe send one or two text messages. And once the person at the other end, your member, responds to that text message, now it becomes a conversation. So those are sort of how one-on-one text messaging is used. Where TCPA rules are more stringent is one-to-many text messaging, which is by using a computer program or a machine, us sending hundreds of thousands of text messages to members or prospects. The use cases for this are marketing, onboarding, and internal communication. So the way TCPA rules work out for one-to-many, TCPA classifies one-to-many text messaging in a category called robo-texting. Just like we used to have robocalling, they now have a category called robo-texting. And TCPA mandates that we obtain express prior written consent before we can do one-to-many text messaging. Now, of course, express written consent does not mean that we really need a paper signature. This can be obtained electronically as well. And today, very soon, I have a demonstration for you in which I'll probably show you how this express written consent can be obtained using text messages itself. So later, after I finish my demonstration, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. But at a very high level, the way you should, we recommend you look at text messaging is one-to-one and one-to-many. So let's start with the marketing solution that Eltropy has, which is one-to-many text messaging. So what's the challenges that marketing people have today? That in general, the response rates on email, direct mail, and radio advertising are falling. Email is full of spam. People get too much spam in email, and open rates and click-through rates on emails have been falling for years. Right now, a good open rate on emails is about 18%. A click-through rate on email is about 1 to 2% today. Text campaigns, what we are seeing across America in different states, offer a 500% increase in response rates compared to email. Let me show you how. So let's start our demonstration today. If you could please open your phones, if you have a phone handy, join MyCU. If you could please text join MyCU to 74994. This is the way to obtain express written consent. So if you could please open your phone and try this. And I'm now showing you my other screen in which I'll actually show you a live demo of this as well. So if you can see my screen, I have my phone handy over here. Let me go to my phone. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the messages tab over here. I'm going to start typing a message to 74994. I'm going to say over here, join MyCU. So when I do that, I get a text message back. It says reply wire yes to start receiving messages from MyCU. And following this message are the 3 TCPA mandated disclaimers. So disclaimer number 1 is message and data rates may apply. Disclaimer number 2 is sign up not required to buy goods or services. And disclaimer number 3 is messages sent by auto dialer to this mobile number. So I'm going to say yes over here. And because I'd already done this, the system kind of recognizes my name. So it says, thank you, Ashish. If you are doing this for the first time, you may have to type in your name. So if you type in your name, then what will happen, you'll get a message back saying, thank you, Ashish. Welcome to the MyCU text offers list. Again, we put in the disclaimer that message and data rates may apply for recurring messages. Help equals help, stop equals opt out. So this last message of stop equals opt out is equally important because it's a good practice to giving people a very easy way of opting out from this text offers list. So now let me show you how many of you actually did that. So what we've done is Eltropy, I've created a demo site for this fictitious credit union called MyCU. I'm going to log into this over here. So on the left-hand side on my screen is my web browser. On the right-hand side, you can actually see my phone. So I'm showing you both. So I'm just going to click on sign in over here. I'm going to sign in. So this is the Eltropy demo site for MyCU. It's loading up right now. Let me just maximize it. You can see everything a little bit clearly. Okay, there we go. So here you can see we're on the dashboard right now, and I've created folders for different use cases I'll be demonstrating to you today. So collections, internal communications, lending, marketing, sales, and support. Before I get into that, I just want to check our activity feed. And hey, there we go. We have some people who already have opted in. So Stephen over here, Val, Michelle, Chris, David, Lindsay, Amanda, Carissa, Doug. So as you can see, all these opt-ins are coming in over here, one by one. So this is the way we kind of do a TCPA compliant opt-in flow, and all the opt-ins are recorded. And let me show you how an opt-out flow would work. So what happens when somebody opts out? So I'm going to go back to my screen. And here the system told me stop equals opt-out. So what happens when I say stop? So I say stop over here. And I say stop ICU like this. And now I get a message back. You've opted out not to receive future text message from ICU. I say, okay, fine. Let's go back to the activity feed over here. And now the activity feed shows me that Ashish Garg has opted out for text messaging. It looks like Amanda also opted out. Michelle opted out, so on and so forth. Perfect. So for the rest of you, I would recommend just please stay opted in. And Amanda, if you're listening, please could you opt in again? And Michelle and Beth, could you please opt in again, because I want to show you a demo. So let's opt in again by just saying join MyCU. And we'll just follow the same workflow here. Just say yes. And then the system automatically recognizes, because I was already in there. So I've opted in again. So this is my first demo where I was showing you how members can opt in or opt out. And bravo, Amanda and Michelle, thank you very much. So both of you have opted in again, and I can track your opt-ins here. So one of the things Eltropy does is that we manage the opt-ins and opt-outs. And a lot of credit unions that we are working with, they would like us to update the opt-in and opt-out information with the core banking system. So for example, Scimitar or Fiserv, so that's an area of an application that we're building, wherein as these opt-ins and opt-outs come, we can go to your core and update a flag in the member's contact information, whether they've opted in or opted out. This way you have a single place as a system of record. Okay, perfect. So now we have a bunch of opt-ins. We're going to move to the next second demo, which is now that our members have opted in, how can we periodically send them some marketing offers? So I'm still on the marketing use case here. So for that, let me go to topics. And again, on the dashboard, you can see I have a bunch of folders here. Let me take you inside the marketing folder. So this is something that somebody in your team should be able to do. So there's a marketing folder. And what we've done is inside this folder, we've arranged a bunch of content. So this is another place where Eltropy is really unique. We actually have a content repository using which you can aggregate your content in a single place. So let me give an example. So credit unions publish quarterly newsletters. So we actually found a newsletter for the signature FCU, and we've actually uploaded it over here. Now, why have we created this content management system? Will just become apparent to you in just a second. So similarly, Gerber Federal Credit Union has a holiday schedule. We just found this document, uploaded it here. So this could be news, like for example, Key Point Credit Union. This is their news article. Perfect. So now here's the use case. So what I'd like to do as a credit union marketing person, I would like to now run a campaign once a quarter and send our newsletter out to our members using text messages. So how do we do that? So in Eltropy, on the left-hand side, we have a tab called SMS campaign. I'll click on that. And now I'm going to start a new campaign. I'm going to call this Q2 newsletter. So this is a campaign I'd like to run. I want to add users. So now Eltropy gives me two options. I can automatically import all the opt-ins, or I can upload a CSV file with names and mobile numbers. Because it's a marketing campaign, I definitely want to make sure that the opt-ins are recorded. So I just click on this button, import opt-ins. When I do that, voila. So here you see Bernard, Val, Michelle, Carissa, Doug, a bunch of people who kind of opted in. All of those opt-ins names and mobile numbers get pulled in automatically. Now I say done. The second thing about Eltropy, so I have 23 people who already opted in from this webinar. So thank you very much, all of you. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select some content. So when I do that, I see the folders. So from the marketing folder, I want to select the Q2 newsletter. This is what I'm getting ready to send out to my members. I click on done. Now, Eltropy also has a editor that I can edit this text message template. I can preview the text message, how it's going to look over here. I can also test this text message with myself or my colleague before I send it out. But here's what I'm going to do. In the interest of time, I'm going to schedule this for the next 5 minutes. So right now, the start date is today, which is Thursday the 9th. The time in California right now is 11:20. So I'm going to just schedule this for 11:25. Perfect. So I put in the start date of the campaign. I'm going to click the launch campaign button over here. It shows me again the template, and I'm going to hit the launch button. So now what happens is this campaign has been scheduled for launch. So if you look over here, Q2 newsletter is in the campaign. Sorry, let me go back. Q2 newsletter is a campaign. This is the content which is going to be sent out. It's going to 23 users. So far, because the campaign hasn't launched, there are no metrics on how many people have actually clicked on the link in the text message. It was created by me. This is the start date, and right now it's scheduled. Now, just to look at some of the metrics, so we've been running tests. So, for example, this campaign here had a 33% click rate. This campaign had a 50% click rate. Across the board with text messaging campaigns, we are seeing anywhere between 18 to 25% kind of click rate. Compare that to email, wherein email click rates are about 1 to 3%. So that there you get about 500% to about 1,000% increase in engagement as a result. So I'm just going to refresh the screen. I think the campaign is getting ready to be launched anytime soon. So another 3 minutes, the campaign is going to launch. Now, while this is launching, I just want to show you a couple of other things. So when I go inside the marketing folder, we also, Eltropy provides inbuilt surveys. So for example, we've built in a NPS survey, which is fairly common with credit unions these days, which is you rate your service over a 10-point scale. So we as Eltropy have a way to create surveys, which is built in. If you already are using some other survey tool, for example, SurveyMonkey or any other tool like that, we also provide an option of importing these surveys here. So now imagine you can create surveys in Eltropy or outside. You can bring them in here in the content library, and then you can text these surveys out to people and get some responses back. The way to add content is very simple. All I'm going to do is click on the edit content button here. It takes me to the back end. So here are some credit union announcements in the news, so on and so forth. So let's say I want to add a new video. So YouTube video. So yeah, 2 days ago, I was visiting Arkansas Federal Credit Union in Jacksonville. Let me see if I can find a video for Arkansas Federal Credit Union. There it is. I'm just going to go flowers, things like that. Go grab that video, come back to Eltropy. I'm just going to add the link, click on Save Changes. Here's a YouTube video. I click on Done Editing, and a video has been added right here. So this is the video from YouTube for about ASU that we just added. So it's that simple to take any type of content. If you want to upload a PDF file, let's see your newsletter, any offers, etc., all you have to do is just come over here, click on the Upload File button, like that, and you can find documents, PDF files, images, etc., and you can import them over there. Done editing. So this is sort of how you maintain or manage your content library inside of Eltropy. Perfect. So you're 1 minute away from the campaign to getting launched. In the meanwhile, if there are any questions, you can type up the questions in the chat window. I'll be glad to answer those. Right now, I can take 1 or 2 questions. Anybody? Okay, so looks like the campaign just launched. It's 11:25, and if you're looking at my phone over here, I just got a text message, and it says, "Dear Ashish, I hope you find the newsletter useful. Please click on the link." So this is what is unique about Eltropy. If you look at this link carefully, this link has a 8-digit code at the end. For me, the code is 11435701. For all the people who participate in today's campaign, if you look at your text message a little carefully, that code will be unique for you. The reason behind its unique codes is that when people click on this link, that's how we'll be able to track their activity and engagement. So for example, I click on this link now. It opens up the web browser on my phone, and there we go. I have the newsletter right on my phone. And if you can see my phone on the top of my screen, I'm getting a bunch of updates, real-time updates, like Michelle just looked at that newsletter, she viewed it, so on and so forth. So now let's see what's been happening. How do we track engagement? Doug also looked at it. So I go to the activity tab over here, and here we go. We have a bunch of activity coming in. Khan just looked at it, Carissa, Sean looked at it, Chris, Doug, Michelle, Lindsay. There are a bunch of people who are already engaging with this particular campaign, which is just absolutely wonderful. Now, when I go back to the SMS campaigns tab, I refresh my screen over here. And now I already have metrics. So already 43.48% people have clicked on that link and have viewed the content. Now, for all of you who clicked on that link, I hope you noticed that when you click on the link, you didn't have to enter a username or password. You do not have to download any new app. You just click on the link, you go to the content. So that's the power of the technology that we built, which is the end member experience is actually quite smooth and easy. We also provide a fairly sophisticated analytics dashboard. So when I click on analytics over here, and now I have a bunch of analytics on people. So for example, Jim Ford over here, from the marketing folder, Jim, we sent you on the credit union announcement, which sent you the newsletter. We know that today at 11:25, you clicked on the link and you viewed this newsletter for about 1 minute and 35 seconds, which is quite good. So there's real-time analytics of business intelligence coming back to you over here. And we have analytics on a bunch of people over here. Okay, so this was the marketing use case that I just demoed to you. Now we're going to move to the next level where I'll show you a collections use case, which is also a very popular use case for us. So now let's run a quick collections campaign. So under the collections use case, so the use case is the following, that we have a few members who are overdue on the payment. Today we call them. However, a lot of people kind of don't pick up those calls. They're embarrassed for being late for a phone call, but text messaging is still in the private space, but not that obtrusive right in the face. So let's see if we can text some of these people. And I have a piece of content, which is a fee schedule. So let's run a collections campaign now. So it's very similar. What I can do here, this was a Q2 newsletter. I'll run a collections campaign. Again, I'll do the exact same thing. I'll import some opt-ins over here. And then I'll select some content, this time from the collections folder. For making a payment, I'll select the payment login page. I'm just modifying the template a little bit. I'm going to quickly preview this. Okay, fine. Let's get to me. Now I'm getting ready to launch a campaign. What is the time right now? It's 11:29. Okay, so I'll quickly schedule it for 11:30, and I shall go ahead and launch the collections campaign. So in just a moment, all of you will also get a text message for collections. Now this is where things get more interesting, wherein until now we did only one-to-many, which is from a computer program, we sent a marketing offer or a collection message to a bunch of people. What if now some of these people actually respond to that text message? So what we built here is the Eltropy messenger. Over here, all the conversations that are happening with people are already listed. So for example, Doug, David, etc. Perfect. So if some of you could please go back to your text message that you received during the demo and just respond to that text message, just write something. I'm going to do the same thing here. And by the way, the collections campaign just launched. And let me just show you my phone. Perfect. So dear Ashish, your payment is overdue. Please click on the link. And now these people are also responding. So let me also say, okay, thank you. We'll make the payment. Okay. The lead +1937 wrote a very funny message. You must be mistaken. I'm up to date. Well, thanks for letting me know, sir. So let me just respond to that. My apologies. Please have a wonderful day. So now what happened here is if you look at this green button, so this is another feature that we've introduced. So as these one-on-one conversations are happening, the green button here tells me that the message was actually delivered to your phone. So sir or ma'am, whoever is this lead +1937, you can just respond whether you got my message or not. I just apologize to you. Jim said his payment is in mail. I'll say thank you, Jim. You have a wonderful day. Perfect. Jim, once you get my message, if you could please respond, that'll be wonderful. So then now you and I, we have a conversation going on over here. Perfect. Okay. So this was sort of the third demo that I want to show you, how we can have a two-way conversation with people. So Denise made her payment today. I say, thank you, ma'am. Okay, perfect. Jim kind of just responded, and Jim just told me, I will thanks you too. I appreciate that, Jim. Now, we also have built a fairly sophisticated chat, sort of a search box over here. So if I, let's say, quickly want to search for Denise, like this, I can do that here. Denise says she doesn't want to pay anymore. That's fine, Denise, we're going to waive this loan for you. I can also search by text. So somebody says, I don't want to pay anymore. Okay, that's perfectly fine. What? So now you see how these conversations have become a text messaging based conversations and how simple and easy it is. Now, let's go one level deeper. Let's talk about business intelligence. So now let's look at Denise's engagement. So I'm going to click on this I button here on the top right, and it shows me something more about Denise. Okay, so what does it tell me about Denise? So Denise, I know she was last active on 9th August at this time. It's also telling me so far I shared a newsletter with Denise. I also shared with her an online payment login. And it's also showing me that now Denise has spent a total time of 20 seconds. So I say, this is interesting. Denise is a fairly engaged member. Perfect. So this is how we track different people's engagement. Let's see how engaged Jim is. Jim is actually even more engaged than Denise. So when I send him stuff, for example, the newsletter and stuff, he's actually spent 240 seconds. Okay, excellent. So this is another advanced feature that we built, kind of giving real-time intelligence of who's looking at what. So now imagine over a period of time, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, right? Now we have an entire history of engagement from these members, which I think will be very valuable as time goes. Perfect. So this was my my fourth demo just got completed. And now I'm getting ready to give you the last demo. And Denise, I really appreciate you participating in this. So I'm going to share something with you. So now I'm going to give you a demo for a lending use case. So here's the use case. I'm a mortgage loan officer. Denise has applied to take a loan from us. We've pre-approved her loan, but now some documentation is pending. So for example, Denise did not submit her driver's license. Let's just go with that. So Denise, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to text you a link to a place where you can upload your driver's license. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let me quickly find your number here. Okay, 503, perfect. So what I'm going to do, Denise, is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to lending folder. Inside the lending folder, I've created some forms. So for example, you applied for a credit card. I really need your pay stub. I'm just going to come over here and share this form with you. And I'm going to quickly text it to you. So I'm going to type 503. It is Denise. I'm sending this form to you via text message. So now if I go back to the messages screen here, Denise, you must have received a text message with a link. So Denise, if you could please click on that link. And when you click on the link, here is what will happen. Let me just show you what will happen at my end as well. Just share it with myself. Go to lending, credit card, click on share, punch in my number, share. Okay. So this is my phone here. So what just happened is that if all of you can see my phone over here, let me bring it to the middle, is I got a link. When I click on this link, a secure link, it takes me to a page which has an attach button. So what I can do is click on this attach button. It invokes the camera on my phone. So I can take photo or video. I'll just take a photo library. So let me click a photo or video. And then let's assume Sukriti and I are sitting here in this room. Let's take a selfie. Please assume that this is our driver's license. So click on the photo, upload the photo from here. The photo got uploaded. I click on submit, it's done. So this is how quick it was to upload a photo. And now let's come back to Eltropy. So now I'm playing the role of the mortgage loan officer again. And here, when I go to submissions, I have 5 submissions here. Perfect. So I go to credit card. Denise has already uploaded her pay stub. Ashish also uploaded it. So when I click on this image over here, open up on my phone. So this is my driver's license. The Sukriti smiling in the background. Let's check out Denise's driver's license. So Denise also submitted. She also said, here you go. Perfect. There you go. So Denise wrote a note for us. Pretend this is a pay stub. Perfect, Denise. Thank you very, very much. So what I just showed you essentially was that text messaging using sort of our content management system. It's not just for sending information out to members. You can also collect information back from people. We can collect photos of their driver's license. We can help them fill out surveys, so on and so forth. Perfect. This was the last demo that I had planned for today. And now I would like to open the floor for Q&A. Let me just switch my screen.
Ashish, this is Guy. I don't know if you have the questions in front of you, but I have a series of questions that have been asked. Do you want me to go through them with you?
Yes, Guy. I think that would be absolutely wonderful. Let me just switch on our camera so people can see us. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Can you tell me more about the integration with Salesforce?
Yes. So we've actually built a very deep integration to Salesforce. In fact, we as Eltropy offer a Salesforce app, which is available on the Salesforce App Exchange. You can download that app, install it on your Salesforce instance, and everything I showed you today, which is content sharing, tracking, sending text messages, receiving text messages, all the analytics, everything is available right in Salesforce using our app. So that's what we do.
You support an API connection.
Yes, and that's how we are able to integrate into all these different IT systems out there.
And have you worked with correlation with regard to API integration?
We started the conversation with correlation. I think I met them at the NACUSO conference, and the conversation is still ongoing, and we haven't completed it yet, but at least we've started the work on that.
All right. What's the info to text? Maybe that was part of the instructions.
Right.
Okay. Well, here I have another one. Can you aggregate the data of responses into a report?
Yes, we do. In fact, let me find the report and I will run it for you right now. Please give me 1 second.
Sure.
I'm sharing my screen again. It's actually a very good question. Perfect. So if you can see my screen, we actually provide a complete report. Okay. Perfect. So it is, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do mycu.eltropy.com. I'm going to run the API from here. The API goes like this: messages / service / export / messages / v1 colon last number of days equal 1. So there you go. I just ran the report. The report came out over here. Just opening on my computer. Okay, there was some bug with my report. So, okay, line to column 2. Sorry, my report didn't run the way I planned it to, but I hope you get the idea. Please believe me that this report can be run.
All right. With larger campaigns, how do you manage a large volume of replies? So if you're sending more than 1,000 messages, for example.
Yes. So there are different workflows we built around that. One workflow is that when people are responding to a large volume, we can queue those responses and we can enable them to go perhaps, let's say, to the call center team. Another workflow we built is an automated response to a member's response. So both of those workflows are available. If you have a particular workflow in mind, that is something that we can build very easily.
Okay. Pricing information. How can the group get that?
Yes. So pricing varies per credit union. So usually credit unions that are $1 billion and above pay a little bit more, and smaller credit unions because of the size pay a little bit less. But conceptually, I'll tell you how our pricing works, is that there is a fixed flat fee per month, and then there's a per text message fee. And most credit unions that we share the pricing with think that the pricing is actually very affordable because we understand credit unions work on a very different business model compared to large banks. And there is a very, very small setup fee, and we do all the integration for you, which is either with Scimitar or Fiserv. All that comes part of that. If a credit union has a very specific question about pricing for their CU, I will share with you my email address at the end of this webinar, and please email me, and I'll be glad to work with you one-on-one on that.
Okay. With regard to the ability to auto reply based on keywords such as stop payment, I think you indicated that that was possible.
Correct. So again, it's dependent on every credit union. So lots of credit unions have different workflows for keywords. Some credit unions have a keyword like stop payment. Some credit unions have workflow like they want to give out coupons or reach newsletters. So again, it's on a case-by-case basis, but we can support any keyword you would like in your credit union.
Where's the data stored? Cloud, on premises?
So we today offer 3 different hosting models. One is cloud. So on cloud, we use AWS, and we work with several credit unions around the documentation, the security and compliance reporting on AWS, and everything checks out okay. So that's sort of the cheapest way of going live is on AWS. The second option we offer is completely hosted on-premise in your data center. And the third option is a hybrid, wherein the application runs on the cloud, but all the PII, personally identifiable information, which is the name, mobile numbers of your members, stay on-premise. So these are the 3 hosting modes that we provide.
And is the integration developed between the core source apps such as bidirectionally?
Correct.
Okay. Will you be at the Scimitar Educational Conference at the end of August?
Yes, we will be. In fact, Sukriti is going to be there. Troy, our head of sales, is going to be there. Most likely I'll be there, and it'll be a pleasure to meet with you at that time.
And can we all go to dinner with you?
We would absolutely love that. We would love
that was off the cuff. That wasn't. The next question is, will the presentation be available for viewing after the meeting? The answer is yes, it is being recorded. So we will have to send that information out to the attendees post-recording. Let's see. Are the dashboards automated in some fashion, able to integrate via API?
Yes.
Do you use short codes to send text and SMS?
Yes, we use short code. So for everybody who doesn't know what a short code is, so the number that you sent join my CU 74994, it's a 5-digit number. In telecom parlance, that's called a short code. The long code is a regular 10-digit number. So we use either, we support both. So depending on the credit union, if you want a short code, we can give you a short code. If you want a long code, we can give you a long code. The only difference is the cost. A short code costs roughly $1,000 a month. A long code costs roughly $1 a month. So depending on the credit union size and the volume, people prefer either a short code or a long code.
Is there a limit to the number of text deliveries to individuals?
No, as long as we are complying with the TCPA rules. So if you're doing one-to-many, as long as we have expressed prior written consent, the way I showed you today.
Okay.
On the other hand, if it's one-to-one messaging, there is no real limit once you get a verbal consent, but we tell credit unions that let's use just common sense. If you send somebody a text message, they don't respond, maybe you can send one more. But after that, if the member is not engaging or not responding, let's please stop, because you also have your reputation at stake.
This is a question from a CUSO that serves credit unions, but also has the need to contact members. The question is, how do we integrate our non-credit union CUSO core with, and I suppose we may need more information for that, but have you worked on a similar project?
Yes, we worked on several non-credit unions. So as a company, Eltropy, we are focused on many verticals. So credit unions is one of the verticals. We work with insurance companies, semiconductor companies, a bunch of other companies. The short answer, sir, is that we have very extensive API and documentation. We can make that available to you, and based on that, you can integrate this with any system out there.
This question is coming from a Scimitar client. What does integration to the core provide when you do integrate?
Very good question. Very, very good question. So there are several sort of pieces to the core integration. At a bare minimum, I think that most credit unions use their core as a system of record for their members. So at a bare minimum, what we want to do is the opt-in and opt-out information about that member, we want to update it in the core. So that's number one. The second thing is, depending on the use case. So for example, we're working with a credit union in Tennessee. They use Scimitar. What they want to be able to do is run an automated collections campaign. So for example, run a query to Scimitar, find all the members that are 10 days away from making payments or 10 days overdue, and send them all a text message with a link, with a unique link to the payment page. So that's the collections use case with Scimitar. Another credit union that we're working with wants us to automate marketing messages. So for example, if a member suddenly has a big balance and some money came into their account, they want to automate a marketing message going out to that member via text saying that you could perhaps invest this money into a CD, or if you'd like, you could buy an insurance policy. So completely dependent on the use case is how the integration plays out.
Great. Another question, have you any engagements regarding with Tenemos and or Accelerant?
Yes and no, but at a very early stage.
Okay. In the example of the late payment reminder, how are we able to upload the file to only those members that are past due?
That's a query that we make to Scimitar and get the data from there. And then we take that data and upload that to Eltropy to send the text messages out.
And that can differentiate between those who have past due accounts and those who do not?
Correct.
Okay. are there any compliance or security issues using text messaging to transfer PII, like a picture of a member's driver's license, utility bill, etc.?
The answer is yes, and this is a very good question. So if we are just having members attach a picture to a text message, so let's see what happens with that picture. The picture will go from their phone to the text messaging provider's number, which is usually AT&T or Verizon, to their server. From there, it'll go on the internet. From the internet, it'll make all its way back to Eltropy. That is not secure. And that's why we recommend using the link method. So what Denise got from me was a secure link. When she clicks on the link, she uploads her picture to that link. We can at that time guarantee that the photo will be encrypted and the photo directly goes back into your data warehouse.
Very great. I've come to the end of the written questions. Let me see if anyone raising their hand electronically.
Actually, Guy, I have only 9 minutes left, and I have 4 more slides to cover.
Well, go to it. We're right on schedule.
Okay, wonderful. So let me just run through my slides very quickly. Okay, so if you can see my screen, collections is a use case I just spoke to you about. There's of course a use case for lending. The lending use case is actually very compelling. A lot of loans get stuck because members are not responding, not sending documents. We have a simple question, so you can build the whole workflow using text messages. We have a great solution for sales, which I unfortunately did not get a time to cover today using a demo, but I'll be glad to cover down the line. There's of course service to answer member questions. Here are a bunch of credit unions we're working with. So in the last 4 months, we've engaged with about 65 credit unions. You may recognize some of these logos over here. Let me quickly walk you through a success story for the sales use case. So one of our clients is Technology Credit Union, headquartered here in the Silicon Valley. Lots of members, lots of assets. techcu, like a lot of other credit unions, does tabling events. So they go to different community events or different companies. At lunchtime, they'll set up a table. On the table, they have these paper flyers, etc. And what they realized was that when people would walk up to their table, they were giving these flyers to people. Most people will take a flyer and either throw it in trash or forget it in their car. So what we gave to techcu was a mobile app. So we also, Eltropy offers a mobile app that you can download for Apple App Store or Google Play Store. And all the content sharing and tracking that I showed you is available in that app. So now what happens is that their member engagement officers, these 2 people over here, have the Eltropy mobile app on their phone. So as people come by, they ask them, sir and ma'am, of course I can give you a printed flyer, but would you like me to text this flyer to you? Or email this flyer to you? So when people express a desire to obtain by text, and by the way, 65% of people when asked that question say text it to me. So they get a text message with the link. When they click on the link, they can see the flyer. And we give now a real-time notification to the salespeople saying, hey, these people are looking at it. Based on that, they can follow up and close them. So here are some of the metrics. For the last 6 months, there's been a 700% improvement in engagement. So compared to emails, a 600% ROI, and techcu was able to make back the investment in Eltropy within a period of 2 months. Here is a quote from the head of marketing at techcu, Himali, who's our champion in the account. I'll let all of you read this. And techcu nominated us for an AVA Digital Award. They actually won a gold award under the category of techcu equips their bank area managers' phones to provide on-the-spot secure digital messaging to potential members. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. For all of you, if you can see my screen, that's my name, Ashish Garg. That's my phone number and my email address. I would love for you to text me, and that's it from my end today.
Thank you very much, Ashish. We just about hit the time allotted on the dot, and it was a great presentation, very interactive, and actually, I think some people's eyes are open today. So, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you at the conferences around the country, including the NACUSOs next year. Take care.
Thank you very much, NACUSO, Denise, and Guy. for hosting such a wonderful presentation. And all of you, thank you very, very much for spending the hour with us. I hope you learned something new, and I look forward to receiving your text messages. Thank you very much.
Good job.
Bye-bye.
Okay, just you click that button there to close it out, Ashish?
Yes.
Okay, great.